What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the BallGame podcast. I'm Matt.
I'm Dean.
I'm Pete.
I'm Tom.
I'm Chris.
The NBA. What?
I did that on purpose. I know. I did that on
That was
purpose.
so sad.
Oh, Tom did a sad intro.
It's
Smile through the pain.
I
man.
was considering doing a really sad start to the pod, but I was like, nah, it's fine. It's NBA Finals.
We gotta
time.
keep the energy up.
I don't care. I'm
Exactly.
pumped.
I gotta have some energy for the intro, even though unfortunately last night we know what
You're a
happened.
better man than me.
We know what happened. The NBA Finals are set, and unfortunately for us Knicks fans, we are not there. We are not going to be there. The Knicks lost to the Indiana Pacers last night in Game 6. Unfortunately, a lot of things went wrong last night. One of which, and I hate to lead it off like this, was I think that was the worst performance by an NBA player I've ever seen. Shout out Josh Hart. That was something. That game was, we had our chances, we had our runs. The Miles McBride one comes to mind where the foot was out of bounds and it wasn't, in my opinion, but that was a 6-point swing right there. We're going to talk about, obviously, the NBA Finals matchup. Yes, the Thunder and the Pacers, but we are Knicks fans, so we got to start off by talking about the New York Knicks. Shout out to the Pacers. Congratulations, NBA Finals. You have your chance to go win your first one.
I mean, they played near perfect most of the whole series. The whole playoff so far, near perfect. So, shout out the Pacers.
Yeah.
They're playing sick ball.
They did play perfect ball.
And shout out, or rather, I hate this man, Sleazy, in the group chat.
He was going crazy.
You're not slick, bro. You're not slick.
Your team still lost in the second round.
To us, by the way. So, and I'm not going to bring up the fact that their superstar is out for the entirety of next season, but
Hey man, I'm the only one who roots for a team that didn't get bounced in the playoffs.
Can't get bounced if you don't make it.
Exactly.
Shit. It's a good life.
It really is.
Who's even on the Bulls right now?
Gosh, Giddy.
Gosh, giddy.
And Lonzo Ball.
Kobe White.
Wow.
Let's go.
Congrats.
Cornerstones.
P. Willie.
I love
you know?
Kobe White.
Vucevic.
For whatever
Mane.
reason, it's still there.
For
How
some
long
reason.
did they go without making a player trade? 2.5 years, 3 years?
It was a long time.
It was a really long time.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
That's impressive.
I mean, speaking of trades, the Knicks probably need to make one this offseason,
Or
I'd
two,
like
yeah.
to think. It was rough. It was a hard game to watch. A lot of pain. First half was very competitive, very close game. I had a lot of faith. We were down 4 going into the second half, and I'm thinking to myself, we really have a shot here. We could do this. We could pull off Game 6, head to Game 7 at the Garden in what would probably be the craziest crowd you'll ever see in your entire life. But Indiana did what they were supposed to do. They shut it down. They didn't let it go back to Madison Square Garden. And yeah, what are some initial thoughts from the Knicks fans first? What do we think? Knicks are out. Tom,
Knicks are
go
out.
ahead.
Oh man, I've been nonstop thinking about this all day. What I was gonna say up here. Like you said, a lot of pain, a lot of heartbreak. The way they lost was they got out hustled, they got outworked. It was sad to see when your back's up against the wall, but also they're exhausted, man. These guys have been run into the ground. They were fighting all series, but to just come out in that situation and not play with enough energy and enough hustle is really sad to see. Josh Hart was awful in this series, and nobody was good last night. Nobody got a pass for last night. Everybody was terrible. Everybody was equally bad. Even I think OG on the stat sheet had a good game. I don't care. They lost by 1 million. It is what it is.
I see the pain in your face very vividly, by the way.
It hurt, man. We lost to the Pacers, dude.
We had our
We
chance.
lost. To the Pacers,
I'm really
man.
not happy it was them either.
Bro,
I'd
we-
rather lose to the
Pacers.
Celtics.
No, I don't agree.
Nope,
Keep
don't
all
agree with
sleazy out of
that.
the picture.
No,
sleazy
no,
We're
no.
leaving here with something. We beat the Celtics. We
Yes.
had no business beating the Celtics.
Agreed.
We're leaving here with something. All right, but
True.
we also shouldn't have lost to the Pacers.
I know,
But
that was kind of
they're a deep team, and there's a reason that the 2 teams in the finals right now are the deepest teams in the league. They have a lot of guys on that team that are rotational players on every team. I mean, bro, they're trotting out Tony Bradley for some decent minutes. Thomas Bryant's giving him some decent minutes.
Bradley had a damn good series.
He had a good series.
What he's asked to do, he had a really good series.
Thomas Bryant, I mean, in the first couple of games, he was getting dog walked by Mitchell Robinson, but then
Thomas Bryant makes me fucking sick.
Yeah.
That makes me sick.
He hit a three. He hit a corner three last night. I looked at Trunks. I said, "It's over, man." Thomas Bryant's hitting threes. We don't stand a chance.
3. He was 3 for 3.
Three of them.
He hit
Yes.
3 of them. Yeah, yeah. Ben Shepherd coming in and just playing great defense. Like, it's just all over. And then Ben Mather in the last 3 games was amazing. So yeah, it hurt. Like I said, everyone on the Pacers played better than they should have. Like, better than they have all season. And Pascal Siakam, I mean, the Knicks just don't know how to guard him. Like, I swear he got so many open jumpers.
Bro.
It's unreal.
He's mad good.
And just running the floor.
Everyone loves
Just
Pascal
running
Siakam.
bro, hit-aheads every single time.
Yeah.
Free dunks, free layups,
Yep.
bro. Come on, eventually.
Yeah. To sum up, what killed the Knicks was turnovers and just perimeter defense, like transition defense too, like just not getting out and running and just not covering shooters, not rotating enough, and boneheaded plays and uncreative offense. Like, it was all bad. Yeah.
The Knicks, it just feels like throughout the whole playoffs, whenever the Knicks get comfortable, they play worse. It doesn't make sense to me. Whenever they gain a little bit of confidence, they start missing shots, start turning the ball over. They get lazy. I don't know what kind of mental block it is that they win a game and then they lose by 40. I for the life of me, I couldn't understand it because last game they came out with intensity, guarding full court. Bro, you're letting Halliburton pick and roll, walk his way to the rim for half the game.
It's
like
He got what, 4 straight quarters?
bro. Yes.
The game.
Yeah.
it's straight
Essentially ice the game.
effort. It's effort right there. Like, do we? I know we're NBA players. Obviously, they care, but how much do we really care if we're letting that happen? I don't know.
I feel like what we saw is just like literally the Pacers out hustling the Knicks.
Yep.
It really just came down to the Pacers were making their shots, the Knicks weren't. The Pacers were playing better defense than the Knicks. And I saw a stat mid-game, or I think it was like in the fourth quarter, where the Knicks had more turnovers than the Pacers, and the Pacers had more turnovers converted to points than the Knicks,
Bro, they
like, by
tripled
far.
us. They
It
tripled
was
us.
like 45 to 120 or something like
they
that.
did.
Yeah, it was not even close to being close.
Yeah, so all those turnovers the Knicks got, they're not converting into points. Like,
Right.
those are big plays. That's how you not only get ahead, but at least, make it a 4-point
Swing the
game.
momentum, too.
Swing the momentum a little bit. Like, anytime there was an opportunity to get momentum, we were just bricking the shot.
Bro.
So it's like that does nothing for the team's morale.
true.
Like, obviously the score reflected it. So
That's a really good point too, because like Bridges and OG especially, like OG was really good throughout the whole season at momentum shots, like turning the tide, and then he just couldn't find it.
So you know what really made, like, this stuck out like a sore thumb in my opinion. A lot of those momentum changing shots ended up in the hands of DeLon Wright, and the motherfucker wasn't even close to I had a better shot at hitting those shots than DeLon Wright did. He wasn't even close.
I had to look at the box scores because obviously I watched every game intently. I asked myself, did DeLon Wright hit a shot in the moment? And like, it's DeLon Wright. I'm not expecting him to,
he plays great defense. Don't get me wrong, but like,
didn't hit a shot.
That's part of the fucking problem.
He had 5 points in the playoffs.
First of all, like, you're relying on, and don't get me wrong, shout out Landry Shamet, man. Shout out that man. He should have been playing the whole goddamn playoffs. He's a new Knicks folk hero. I don't give a shit. I hope we keep him. But when you don't play these guys all postseason, and then you're throwing a DeLon Wright in there, you're throwing a Landry Shamet in there, and now it's like, all right, well, hopefully these guys could provide us some valuable rotation minutes.
Yeah.
Like, what do we expect? Like, what do we expect at this point? So, I mean, look, I've long been in the fire Thibs club, but you can't. You cannot fire Thibs after having the best season you've had in 25 years. So a lot of the people that are saying that, you got to throw that shit away. It's not happening, and it shouldn't happen because
it's already come out that like
they're sticking with
Leon Rose likes him. It's really just up to Dolan, and I don't think at this point Dolan's going to overstep and fire a coach. I mean, he's already worked so hard to get his image back up.
Yeah,
he's
shit. He went on the Roommates show.
He
went on Roommates.
People went from hating James Dolan to like now we just love him. So I don't think
all from shutting the fuck up.
I've said awful things about James Dolan over the course of my life, like awful. Like
I feel like James Dolan's the type of guy that probably cares about what people think about him.
Seems like it.
Seems like it.
So, Chris, unbiased perspective, what are you thinking?
I think you guys pretty much hit everything on the head. It really is as simple as you guys not just got outworked, but you guys got outplayed.
Yeah.
They were just a better team for 6 games. And I mean, I agree with your point about DeLon Wright and Landry Shamet. It's like, yeah, like, make some shots, but also it's like you're getting thrown into game. What did they start playing? Game 3 of the Eastern Conference Finals without playing all postseason. And it's just like, I feel like typically throughout the postseason, you play your guys in the earlier rounds and shrink your rotation the deeper you get. And the Knicks did the exact opposite in this playoff run, which is just not conducive to, making a deep playoff run when you're just trying. If you're trying shit that you weren't trying all season, like, then you're
fucking
like, it's a problem. You know what I mean?
You're desperate.
So,
It almost worked.
no, those guys,
They did their job.
They did their jobs.
to
Yeah.
both of them. Like, it sucks that DeLon Wright just can't hit a freaking shot, but that's also not who he is.
Right.
Like, for what he was brought in to do, he did a damn good job. Shamet came in and hit some shots and also played
Great defense.
way better defense than you would expect out of Landry Shamet. So shout out to both of those guys for staying ready when their name was called, for sure. But the Josh Hart thing's really the big thing that stands out to me, because it felt like yeah, sure, DeLon Wright missed a few momentum swinging threes. OG maybe missed a few momentum swinging threes, but to me it felt like every time in the Knicks losses in the series that the momentum was about to swing their way, Josh Hart was just
Turning the ball over. Yeah.
just doing too damn much. And it's just like, when you're not good at anything else other than hustling and giving it 110%, now you're trying to go 120%, 130%, and it's just too damn much. It's just too damn much. That's really what it was. We talked about it the other day. We said, maybe he got mentally affected by the benching. But like I said on the stream the other night, like, I don't think it was that. I think he just played bad.
It was also his idea to come off the bench,
yeah,
apparently.
I mean,
Was it really?
They said
He
the
mentioned
report
it
is
in
he went to
Boston
Thibs and
Said, don't start me.
said, yeah, I'll come off the bench.
So I mean,
No, it's a good thing.
bad
Yeah.
play
Oh,
of
oh.
Josh Hart, I think, really, in my eyes, started game 1 when he was slipping all over the place and
Yes.
and Neesmith was banging threes on his
Terrible
dome
clutch,
piece.
Yeah.
of
I think
clutch.
that got into his head, and after that, he's been in his head the whole series.
Yeah.
His defense looks not confident. He's committing fouls. Doesn't drive to the basket. Like, he lost all confidence that he had after that game.
And I mean, it's not like I'm not trying to take a victory lap on this, but this is something that I've said for a while. And like I'm sure you could watch some old stuff. Like, I've said, like, Josh Hart is in my opinion, one of the more overrated players in the NBA. And shit, last playoff run, he had an out of body experience. Like, shout out to him when
He was fucking
42%,
amazing.
Something like that,
three,
yeah.
like,
and he was shooting good in this playoffs until this series.
yeah,
I
like
still love you,
45%.
Josh. I still love you. Like, no doubt. But we're on a break.
It's just like, when you're a guard / wing, and your best trait is rebounding, how impactful it's 2025. You know what I mean? Like, we not looking for Otis Thorpes and Dennis Rodmans out
Right.
there in 2025. Like, you got to be able to create your own shot, which he can't. He's supposed to be a good playmaker. In this series, he was far from good, probably pretty bad.
No, far from
negative.
pretty
I
bad.
mean, Josh Hart should
actually.
never have 5 turnovers in a game.
And
Like,
then
it just
he's-
can't happen.
To me, he's the fakest good defender I've probably ever seen in my life. Because this isn't new. It stood out in this series.
Yeah.
In game 1, in the clutch of the biggest collapse in playoff history, he was at the center of it, like, with his defense, but throughout the whole series. But this is who Josh Hart. He's not a good defender. He just.
Too many times falling asleep on a
just-
backdoor cut, bro.
That
How
was-
many times can I
I
watch
said-
it happen?
And that's who Josh Hart is,
Yeah.
though. That's who Josh Hart is. And it, like, again, like, he has a role, obviously. Like, he could play for teams and be a part of good teams. Like, we've seen that. I'm not saying he's not a good player, but it's just like the Knicks were very reliant on him, too, to, I guess, in a sense, with his transition play, take the pressure off of Brunson. And he just did not
The exact
step up
opposite.
to the plate in this series. And costed them
Bro.
at times. To me, like that was, there's so many things you could point out. The defense of the team as a whole, Mikal and OG being as inconsistent as there were, having no depth on the team. But to me, Josh Hart was really the biggest thing that stands out to me as to why the Knicks lost the series. I think Josh Hart playing, let me just get this off. Josh Hart playing better in a few of these games, even not in totality, but just for stretches at a time, I think really could have swung the series a different way. So that's what really stands out to me.
I mean, I'm 100% in complete agreement. And the play that stands out to me more than any other, I mean, first of all, he wasn't even close on his jumpers either. Like, not even remotely close. Banging it off the backboard, airballing. It was everything you could have expected.
Quarter. Like,
what got me, I don't give a shit about that. Because if you're going to shoot, at least you're shooting the open ones. That's fine.
Yeah.
My issue stood when we had a 3-on-1 fast break and Josh could not make a decision as to what he wanted to do with the ball and just lobbed it and threw it at the backboard. I'm losing my mind in that moment. I'm like, bro, that is a momentum-changing play if there ever was one. Because I think at that point we were down 9, but the comeback was starting and that happens. And I'm like, what, pull him. Please take him out of the fucking game.
Right. He doesn't know
what
what he's doing.
And Tibbs stuck with him.
Yeah.
Tibbs kept sticking with him. And then on the other side, he'll finally make a play after 5 bad possessions. He'll get a steal. And then it's okay, cool. Good job, Josh. Maybe we should keep you in the game. And then for every one good play he had, it's he had 4 bad ones. And it was just compounding. It was compounding. It was just.
He definitely had some great plays throughout the entirety of the series. Obviously, what was it? Game 3 with his rebounding. Oh my God.
Oh, be good, Justin Herbert.
Sorry,
careful with that, bro.
My bad, Yoke.
Think Justin Herbert.
That was a fun
yoke.
Oh, it's Yoke? Damn.
Careful with that. But yeah, no, that's a perfect way to put it, Matty J. I feel like
I'll try.
Be fragile
My
with
bad.
him.
for every good play he had, he probably had 4 or 5 bad ones. And again, those guys missing the momentum, swinging threes, you could get back from that, get a stop.
Yeah.
Yep.
But Josh Hart was not only not giving the Knicks momentum, but he was killing it, and that's what.
And giving the Pacers moment,
Right.
What felt like every time.
Live ball turnovers.
Every time we were making
Every
a run.
time.
Yeah.
Live ball turnovers.
and again, there's so many things that went wrong. Josh Hart isn't the only reason the Knicks didn't win this series, but if I had to pick a biggest reason, that would probably be it for me.
So I said about Josh Hart, I've always said, I've said it on here. I think Josh Hart can sit in a chair and guard, but as a team defender, misses backdoor cuts, does not rotate,
Yes.
does not close out fast enough. It's super frustrating to watch. And then, obviously the inconsistencies offensively. The most frustrating thing for me to watch, besides Josh Hart, maybe even more than Josh Hart, was Karl Anthony Towns on defense in the series. I mean, the guy was lost out there, man. Literally lost. Turned around, not looking at a defender while they're shooting a 3. And it's just, for a guy like Josh Hart, even though Tibbs might not do it, even next year, you can put him on the bench, and if someone else is having a better game, you can live with Josh Hart having a bad game, maybe even a bad series. I don't know about in the Eastern Conference Finals, but in general, you can. You cannot deal with Karl Anthony Towns being unplayable on one side of the ball, especially when he has his moments where he doesn't score very well, and I mean, it's just, it's getting lost, and then the stupid fouls, man. He just shoves people, and then he's like, "What did I do?" It's what do you mean, bro?
Right.
You just
Grab a wrist.
You just shove
He
the guy.
holds people's hands and thinks that they're not going to try to draw a foul on him. Bro, you're getting called for that in the Eastern Conference Finals every single time. The spotlight is on you. They know you commit stupid fouls. Why are you just being dumb?
And I think part of it is
Why?
throughout these
Every
playoffs,
time.
Cat had one of the worst whistles I've ever seen. The guy was getting clobbered and not getting a call. And that gets in your head.
He
That frustrates
played
you.
Banged up.
Yeah.
Shout
no,
out to him. He played banged up.
They all pretty much did. So then they're gonna do that. That's who the Knicks are. But
He
that
was
gets
really, really hurt.
Yeah, that
he was
knee
hurting. He was hurting.
was
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah. But that's gonna get in your head too when you're not getting calls. You might shove a guy on the next play. It's gonna happen. But watching him on defense, man, is just frustrating because you see him on offense. He can move his feet. He can, he's athletic.
I said this.
It's an IQ and an effort thing on the other side
And
of
he's
the ball.
not a tenacious rebounder where okay, the bad defense, but he's going to grab that board.
Yeah.
He's a good rebounder.
He's
a
all
very
right.
good rebounder.
Yeah,
He's 7 feet tall, huge as hell, but he's all right. He's all right. He's not the best rebounder. If you're not moving your feet, bro, go grab the board.
He's not Mitch, on the glass on that end.
That
But
motherfucker's a man amongst boys,
like
bro.
like Mitch was probably the most consistent guy in this series. At least, like Brunson had his struggles for sure, but
Cat wasn't even like it's not an ability. Like he's just not
I agree. I
understanding
don't
what's
think
supposed to be happening.
yeah, 100%. I 100%
Something
agree.
doesn't click in his head where he's supposed to be or why they're doing what they're doing, and it happens, and it's like, why? What are you not understanding? Because I can see it from my couch, but you don't understand what's happening on the floor during the game.
Coverage on pick and rolls. Good God
But
almighty.
is that him or is that the scheme?
Well, apparently there
it's
was
the
the
scheme.
report that came out that players were very aggravated with the way he played defense throughout the season in general. So
I think
I'd have to think it's partially on him.
I think it could be the scheme, but also like you don't see Mitchell Robinson having those problems nearly. Like you consistently
Yeah.
see Cat not being near a defender. You know what I mean?
Like,
So
The only
think
guy
of
in the
those-
court that looks lost.
It's just like I think of
Always.
those 4 straight Halliburton floaters, and it's just like, Sleazy came to the chat
Yeah.
and said it. He's like, Tyrese Halliburton came down, walked down into the paint, and took a floater 3 times. What happened the next time? The Knicks stayed in drop coverage.
yeah.
no, some of it's 100% on
You know
Thibs,
what I
too.
mean?
That's
Yeah,
why I was
100%.
saying that.
Like,
Why we're even playing drop coverage against the Pacers at all
Right.
is beyond me.
Against one of the best playmakers in the
right, you
league,
can't
good
play
three-point
drop.
shooter.
I mean,
like,
to be fair, there's really no good way to guard
mean,
a guy
yeah.
like Tyrese Halliburton in the pick and roll,
Yeah.
other than, I guess, trap him and get the ball out of his hands. But the way the Pacers' other guys were playing, like, do you even want to...
You don't want the ball in their hands
put the
either.
ball in
Yeah.
Andrew Nemhard's hands and have a 4-on-3 situation? Probably not. Do you want to have him swing it to Pascal in the short roll and have Pascal in a 4-on-3 situation with shooters in both corners? Probably
have
not.
Neesmith catch and
So,
shoot.
did
like,
I
yeah,
just
it's-
hear Chris give Tyrese Halliburton flowers?
That's not what I was doing at all. though. I was actually praising the others of the Pacers.
No, but you said there's no good
he's
way
one
to
of the
guard
best-
Halliburton
he's
in
one
the
of
pick
best
and
pick
roll.
and roll players in the league.
He's a dog.
100%.
He's a dog.
Yeah.
I fucking hate him right now, but he's a dog.
Yeah.
So troll. Like
Oh my gosh! You see, he responded to Ben Stiller
Yes.
on Twitter.
Yes.
Yeah.
He earned it.
Come on, he deserved
He
that.
earned it. You know.
Ben
He's gotta do what he's
commented
gotta do.
back, yeah, fair enough. Like, good luck. Good luck to you in the finals. Like,
Not good luck. Fuck you. I'll
mean-
respect it, but I'm not wishing you good luck. I hope they get dog walked. But
you guys
we
want
have all these villains, but we don't
Absolutely.
beat We
Absolutely.
don't beat nobody.
no, we don't. We have these villains because we don't beat them. That's
Yeah,
why
we're
they're
like-
villains.
We're like Batman.
We don't give a
We're
shit
like
about-
Batman if he didn't have a suit.
Like, why do you think we don't give a shit about Embiid? Why do you think we don't give a shit about
Yeah, we don't
Embiid?
care
We
about
beat
Embiid.
his
Yeah.
ass.
Yeah,
Like,
but I wish we would have faced like Trae Young again. And beat his
they don't make
little-
the playoffs, bro.
beat his little dirty lollipop hat.
He'd probably
Head ass.
drop
Y'all don't
50
want
on
that.
our
Yeah, they don't
heads,
make
to
the
be honest.
playoffs. So Trae Young's just a
Yeah, we don't
thing
care
at this
about that
point.
because
Yeah.
he's not
Good for
relevant.
you guys.
Bro, he's not relevant. So don't even give me that. He's not relevant. He's legitimately irrelevant.
But closing thoughts on the Knicks. I mean, as far as the
got really
reaction to the
passionate about-
playoffs, yeah, I mean,
Irrelevant.
yeah, you clearly don't care
raw
about him at all. As far as the playoffs,
Gotta
like
riff.
the fire Thibs stuff, it's just not a good idea. Like, first of all, the guys love him. The locker room loves him. You fire him, you're gonna that's gonna cause morale issues all over the place. I think. Who are you bringing in other than Thibs? Like,
Some guys out there.
Look, to be fair, you probably could get a decent coach that'll be better than Thibs. I'm sorry. Here's what I think you need to do. I don't give a fuck if you don't fire Thibs, but you better bring in an assistant that can run a fucking offensive
Yeah,
system.
I agree.
bro.
So that's what I was gonna
'Cause
say.
I'm
is
real
like,
sick of this shit.
It's like Tibbs' limitations over the years. Like he's gotten called out for his inability to make adjustments in the playoffs. Before this series, he was adjusting his ass off in the first 2 rounds.
mid-game. That's his problem.
Yeah. But and then even in this series, like I guess he eventually went to Wright and Shamet and all, and he put Josh on the bench and all. But yeah, the lack of creativity on the offensive side of the ball is brutal, man. And that's part of the reason you had so many turnovers was because the Pacers know where you want to go and they know
Exactly.
who's going to get the ball.
Oh my God, I'm about to say something so crazy. The lack of creativity on offense is because Bro's daddy is on the bench. Boom, 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 boom.
I mean,
I don't think so.
Get
don't
his
even-
daddy off the team.
I don't even know what Rick Brunson does for the team.
No,
honestly,
me
I really have no idea.
Johnny Bryant back, bro.
Bro,
Johnny Bryant would
A lot
be
of people are saying
fucking
they want
phenomenal
to
as a
fire
head
Thibs
coach right now.
for Johnny Bryant.
I saw that
I know
too.
we're talking about Bro's daddy on the bench last night.
Why is Johnny Bryant not a Knick?
Well, he
went to the
left
Cavs.
to take I think the same exact position on the Cavs
Right? Why?
because
Why,
they're better and probably offered him more money.
Why didn't we? Right. That's what I'm saying. We should have probably paid.
He's a dog. He's going to
Johnny
be a good
Bryant
head
more.
coach, I think. I want
It
him.
just sucks because the season was such a success, obviously, but
right.
every potential flaw and weakness was just on full display
Yeah.
for 6 games just now.
Yep.
So it just leaves such a sour taste, I'm sure, in your guys' mouth.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like, damn, bro, like, does this team really have what it takes? You know what I mean? And
Right now,
Especially
no.
after beating Boston.
Right,
Like,
it's just like-
you felt like you could take on anybody, and then like the Pacers take you
Right.
down. It's
and,
really
like, not just take you down, like, really give you not an ass. Well,
They
yeah,
no,
no,
they
like
did.
an
No, they
ass-
did.
no, they
Bit of
kinda
an ass
whipped their
whooping.
ass,
Yeah, it was a
yeah.
bit of an
Like,
ass whooping.
like,
Good
they-
old fashioned ass beating. Yeah.
They exposed them, like
Yeah.
like not even like saying like, oh, they beat them so bad, but like they took all their weaknesses and let the world see them.
I mean, we
You
did
know
it to
what
the
I mean?
Celtics in the second round. We did the same thing to the Celtics in the second round, but yeah.
You know,
I'm sorry. I
ahead.
think
No, no,
Thibs outcoached Missoula in that
Yeah,
series, and I
100%.
think Carlisle ran a freaking clinic around.
Yes.
this-
Yeah, for
this
sure.
Series.
Carlisle deserves
Carlisle
all the flowers in the
deserves a
world.
ton
sure.
of credit. A ton of credit.
All the flowers in the
Great
world.
series.
He's awesome. He's great. He's such a good offensive mind. That run and gun system, I really didn't think would be this incredible. And the Pacers are, like, as much as I hate them right now, they are incredibly talented. Do I think this is going to be a lopsided finals? Yes, I do.
They're so fucking lucky, bro.
You just got so many dudes who have such high feel for the game. You know, what I mean?
Nemhard's a dog. by
Like
the
you look
way.
at the Knicks on the other side, like Cat, like obviously has his moments of being great. He's a he a legend, but like Cat's feel for the game of basketball is probably why sometimes on offense he's not as aggressive as we
Yeah.
want him to be. Sometimes on defense, more times he's getting lost.
Yep.
You look at a guy like Mikal Bridges who. Talent-wise, he's up there. Mikal
Sure,
Bridges is
yeah.
a talented-ass player,
Yeah, he's
but his
good.
basketball feel is, but like not good. You know what I mean? Like he doesn't see the game the
Yeah.
way a guy like an Andrew Nemhard does. The way a guy like Pascal Siakam does. Even a guy like Miles Turner, who just seems to always be in the right fucking spot. Aaron Nesmith just seems to always be in the right fucking spot. You know what I mean?
They
Miles
got
Turner.
basketball players.
Right. They got a lot of
Yeah.
guys who just really understand like all the nuances of the game, and that's why it works so well, because in a system like that, you really, you're moving so fast, run and gun. You need everyone to be in, the right spot at the right time. So yeah.
Miles Turner took a mean shot to the fucking family jewels over there. That was
Yeah.
rough.
Like
It
even
happens.
Obi Toppin, like I don't know what his counting stats were for the series, but just watching all these games, it just felt like Obi Toppin was just always in the right spot at the
Nah,
right
he
time.
sucks. If there was one player in the Pacers that had a bad series, it's probably him. He sucks.
fucking open.
No, I've seen
I
his
thought he
name,
made
though.
a lot of
He was all right, yeah.
really, really good plays.
He didn't-
for them
he
offensively.
was cool.
He didn't hit a lot of threes, but like his 3-point
He does
percentage
one
was bad,
thing,
but
and
like
it's run to the basket and dunk it.
Pretty damn valuable to this team.
Why hating
No?
on Obi?
I'm not
I don't
saying
think he had a good. I don't think he
I'm
had a
not
good
saying
series.
he's
He didn't
some
have a
type
good
of
series.
Stud. I just felt like he made a lot of those momentum swinging,
Hash
Energizing.
slinging.
hash swinging, like type of plays that the Knicks were lacking.
Yeah.
And Obi Toppin dunk could suck the soul out of the Knicks
Hey.
moment.
talk to him. Talk to him.
I mean, in
he
game
set the
one,
soul
while
out
you
of
guys
me,
had the biggest collapse in NBA playoff history, they put Miles Turner to the bench and ran
They
Obi
did.
Toppin out
At the
there,
five,
and he
yeah.
was huge.
True.
He was, he was huge. That shit fucking ginormous. No, but was he not though? He was one of
30
them-
seconds.
Everyone asking on Twitter as the games, they're starting to come back. Why Carlisle take Miles Turner out? What the hell? What the hell? Obi Toppin
hell?
and one dunk running to the running to the basket, put back dunk over Mitchell Robinson, whatever it was in game one. Like made a lot of really good plays. And again, that's just these guys are very well coached to be in the right.
He's also
spot
like
at the
the
right
8th guy in the rotation, so like he doesn't have to. You know what I mean? Like yeah.
Stud and had this
I'm with
all
you.
NBA level series, but he had a lot of really good plays that I feel like were just being in the right spot at the right time.
It was all. This will be my last point because I don't want to talk about this more than I have to at this point. Andrew Nemhard played some of the best defense I think I've ever seen anyone play on Jalen Brunson in my life.
That was
that was
special.
a clinic, like an actual clinic. Sixth.
It's my burp.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, you did?
bad.
That
Yeah.
was crazy. Nice. Why do
Smells
you
that bad?
smell everybody's
I
burp
was gonna say,
every
I've
single
never
time?
seen someone react to a burp,
burp?
the same
Bro
like
always
how Pete
covers
does.
his nose. Like,
Yes.
just don't breathe through your nose.
Yeah, just be.
Why you got to make a scene?
Be a man, bro.
Yeah,
not being a
taste
scene.
that
It's
shit.
filtering the
yeah,
smell.
taste that shit.
I'm smelling my cologne instead.
That shit smells bad too, bro.
That's good.
Anyway, shout out Andrew Nemhart. That's all.
Yeah, especially when Brunson just had a series where he was like throwing Derek White off of him,
Oh.
like it was nothing. You know what I mean? Like,
Nah.
I guess I'll pose this question. So for the offseason for the New York Knicks, what are some of the moves that we believe need to be made for this team to become a legitimate title contender?
so the positives are you made it to the Eastern Conference Finals. Tatum's out for the entire year next year. Celtics probably aren't contenders next year. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that. Cavs looked like shit in the second round. And then the Pacers, they're all playing the best basketball of their lives. Are they going to do that again next year? Maybe, maybe not, right? The East is wide open. So I think the Knicks need to find a guy to put in their starting lineup and make Josh Hart go to the bench. Josh Hart cannot be a starter next year. It's just that simple. Like, he's a perfect bench guy because he can come in and have a great game and impact the game in every facet, or he cannot do that. So when I ask, like, who do I want out there, I keep coming back to, like, a guard that can do a little bit of everything. Shoot primarily, play a little defense, put the ball on the floor, and I keep thinking of Dante DiVincenzo.
I was about to say, we had a
Like
guy.
Dante.
I think you need a guy like that, that you can plug in there and send Hart to the bench, and then a couple, mid-level exception signing, get a couple bench guys, and then I think you're right back here next year and in position to go to the finals.
I saw a couple names like Nickeil Alexander-Walker being thrown around. I saw Chris Paul in the vet minimum being thrown around,
Yeah.
which I would love. Instead of, I don't know, McBride playing the backup one, he'd maybe play bench two.
Unless you
off
trust
the ball.
Kolek next year.
Probably not. He's probably still a developmental piece.
Second round. Knicks. Listen, every NBA fan in the world thinks that their rookies are full of untapped potential and going to be all NBA players. You know what I mean? But like,
I'm not saying that.
No,
I'm
obviously
saying
you're not saying
I
that.
think the role that we would need him to fit is precisely what he's solid at.
Out of the four that
What's
we
your-
have, out of the four rookies we have, one will
nice.
probably hit. Out of Huck, Dadier, Kolek, and McCullough.
I think
but they
McCourty's
also-
going to be a rotation
You
player next
have
year.
a starting point guard who got exposed for his defense in this series, right? Why would you go and try to develop your backup point guard to be Kolek, who would come in and also
Right.
get exposed? Like, you need like a Delon Wright who's actually good at basketball to be your backup guard.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
I got you.
You need like a good defender
Yeah.
as your
Yeah.
Tyler-
Kolek's
Tyler
like a
Kolek
good-
just doesn't have a one. I don't think he's an NBA player because I think he's just Jalen Brunson barbecue chicken. Like that's his saying. Tyler Kolek, the barbecue chicken. Think he barbecue chicken. Like he just can't. He just won't be able to guard at an NBA level the way that you'd need a backup guard to, and he's not Jalen Brunson to where he's generating an entire offense that
Yeah.
makes up for him not being able to guard. Like he's just not. He don't have a
There
place.
just
on this.
aren't options out there.
Well, I mean, we might.
No, it's the guy.
Well, I agree.
No's a
I think
great-
that
No's
is
a
the
great
guy.
guy, yeah.
That's
No.
Nickeil Alexander-Walker. That's
be
the
sick.
guy. But the
Yeah.
problem is we
Don't
don't
get a bag.
That's number one. He's definitely getting a bag. But we don't have the assets right now to make a trade. We don't have the money right now to offer a guy. Like
So-
we're
Oh, yeah.
we're in between the first and second apron right now, which means we
Right.
have access to the taxpayer MLE, which is 5.7 million. And that's cool. That could get you a decent rotation player and all that. But then you go over the second apron, and that's where teams don't want to be at this point. You don't have the money for Nickeil. Like Nikhil's probably a full MLE kind of guy, 13 to 16, whatever it is. Like we can't get anybody. That's what like we're gonna have to come to terms with. We can't get anybody.
So I saw this could potentially be a move. Knicks receive Giannis. Bucks
Love it.
Okay, great fucking start.
Love it.
Bucks receive Cat and multiple draft picks from the Knicks via the Spurs.
Where are the draft picks?
The Spurs receive Mikal Bridges.
That's insane. That's one of them like
So we give
Bleacher
up
Report.
Kat and
fucking-
Mikal for Giannis.
Right.
Cat and
Pretty
Mikal
much- that's
for
pretty much what
Giannis.
it would be, yeah.
But what do the Bucks get in this?
The
Cat
Bucks
and
get
what?
Cat and they get multiple draft picks that the Knicks would get from trading Mikal Bridges to the Spurs.
So the Knicks wouldn't be getting picks. The
No. I
Bucks are
know.
getting picks from the Spurs. The Spurs
Yeah.
are giving up picks for Mikal.
And then the Knicks are
So
sending
the
those
Knicks
picks
are
to.
essentially swapping Cat for Giannis, and I'd go out on a limb here and say giving the Bucks
whatever picks they have left.
What do they even have available? Just
They have a first.
So
they
they
have
have-
one first available to them and 2 swaps.
Right.
I think they have Washington's pick next
Yes.
year. Yeah, they have
26
Washington's pick
Washington
next year,
pick, but
which,
it's
like,
1 to 8 protected, I think.
Right.
Oh,
So
okay.
basically, whatever's available to trade.
And then we have 2 pick swaps available to trade as well. If we go over the second apron, we cannot trade any
Right.
draft picks. So from where we're at right now, we have the 26 Washington first, and then we have 2 pick swaps and 5 second-round picks.
Right.
Something like that. That's all we can offer in terms of picks.
So we can get more picks from the Spurs by giving them Mikal Bridges, and then we take those picks and Cat, give them to the Bucks, and then we get Giannis.
So you ready for this one? If you're the Spurs, why the fuck are you trading for McAllen
So-
and not going to get
So that's what
Giannis?
I was. So me and Trunks, when we were leaving last night, he said something about Giannis, and I was like, "We're just not getting Giannis." He's like, I don't. I'm like, dude, there's so many other teams that have a better offer than us. Like,
Yes.
Houston has a way better offer. San Antonio has a way better offer. Like,
Celtics
Celtics
probably have a way better offer.
Yeah, like it's not gonna happen.
It sucks, man, because like I hate to be
It was
an
right
One
there.
off season late.
I was
Yeah.
about to say,
Yeah.
I said it at the time. It's just like, why
Yeah.
didn't you just? We knew Giannis was going to be available this
Yep.
offseason. If he didn't get at least to the ECF this year, we knew it was going to be a real possibility that he could be on the move. And we knew the Knicks at this time
At
last
that
season
point, yep.
were in great position to have the front running potential package to go get Giannis. Like, and it's just like, you guys sold your soul for an Eastern Conference Finals appearance.
Yeah,
And
but
it's just like-
this year was kind of like the perfect year to try to make a run with the Celtics beating the Celtics and the East
True.
not being super strong. Like you didn't know Tatum was gonna tear his Achilles, like, and you were gonna have an opening next year. Like, even if we added Giannis, the fully healthy Celtics are probably still better. Like, this was the season to do something. Like, I don't listen.
Also, 'cause
do I
yeah.
hate that I gave up 5 first-round picks? Yeah, it's way too much. But like, I don't hate them for trying.
But with the second apron stuff, the way it is now, like you're essentially stuck with this team.
But I trust I personally I think Leon Rose has been pretty creative
brilliant. He's
in the
brilliant.
last few years. As far as president of basketball operations go, he's pretty damn creative. I think he'll
Yes.
come up with something. This team is not going to go out looking the exact same. There will be changes. We will have new pieces. I don't know how it comes, but I'm going to trust that he's going to make something happen.
So here's the thing. Like I agree with you, but
I'm so
Why do you
sorry.
keep doing that, bro?
you hate Jokic, bro. Jesus Christ, leave him alone, man. God damn, he's been through enough these playoffs.
too on the top.
Yeah, he's all right. We'll grab him later.
They're barely
So
shot. It's all right.
Where'd Nick go?
Nick's sleeping.
Nick's
We need a
sleeping over
producer
there.
cam. That's
I get it. Like I understand the whole. Everybody wants Giannis, and I get what you're saying about Leon. My thing is, yes, but he also just traded 5 first-round picks for Mikal. So like, this is the same guy that just made that trade, and you're saying like you don't like that, which I understand. You said you're glad we went for it and all that. I also think that Mikal trade was made in complete faith that we were going to run back pretty much the same roster from last year and just add Mikal to it. Which
There's
if
no
that
way
was,
Leon Rose thought Isaiah was signing back after the
Yeah.
season he had. He's not stupid.
There's no shot.
I really do
We knew
think
he wasn't gonna
thought
come
There's
that,
back.
no shot.
But that's not true because we could have like
Yeah, but Leon
It
knew the
wasn't
market
possible.
for Isaiah.
It wasn't
There's
gonna
no
happen.
way
It
he
wasn't
thought
gonna
Isaiah
happen.
was coming back.
I don't know.
You think
Bro,
he has
know-
less information than you?
He knew what Hartenstein was going to get offered.
I think
knew
he thought
couldn't-
there was a potential
No shot.
for him for a team to not offer him $27 million
Completely
a
disagree.
year.
We all sat up here and said that was what he was going to get. Leon Rose knew what he was going to
Then
get.
why don't you make the Mikal trade after you
Right.
know you?
Maybe it just wasn't on the table.
But that's my point too. Like
Maybe
if
the
you
Knicks
know
have been-
you're going to lose Isaiah and you know all that is going to happen, why are you now making the Mikal
the
trade?
Knicks had probably been talking Mikal with the Nets for a very long time, and the Nets were maybe finally willing to open the door for it,
What
and
I'm
they did it.
saying was right, exactly. So you were so honed in on Mikal that this was such a perfect offer, giving 5 first-round picks up, that you just couldn't let this offer slip away from you. Come on, bro.
So no, I'm not
Agreed.
going to defend everything. I think this is, the very few stains on Leon Rose's tenure with the
And
Knicks.
granted, it got them to the best season in
Right, I
25
mean-
years.
Right.
Like,
I
you
mean,
can't
like,
criticize it.
it was a bad.
can't.
His probably
It's
his
just-
worst move. Yeah, but it's still like worked out. Kind of. You gave too much, but like it wasn't a detriment to the team. Like Mikal's on a good contract.
Well, we got to.
I hate to say, well, that's going to be
yeah.
changing soon. He's going to make 39 a year very soon.
Something like that,
But
yeah.
Compared to the cap, I mean, everybody's going to be making 40 million.
I agree, but it's also just, yes, you could say right now it wasn't a detrimental trade, but we're literally talking about the Giannis sweepstakes and saying how we're out of it now.
Okay,
You
but
couldn't
like
have
because
not
of
made
that
a move,
specific
though.
trade.
you're also not gonna just not make a move that you think is a really good move because Giannis might potentially leave Milwaukee, and like so many things would have to go right for Giannis to end up
Right.
in New York.
I get it,
and you
but
can't gamble on
I'm
that.
so fucking convinced that. What? Go ahead.
I think you do gamble on that instead of sending
Yes.
the farm for Mikal Bridges.
Not when you haven't been to the Eastern Conference
Because it
Finals in
was
25
Mikal
freaking
Bridges,
years.
I,
Bro.
I do think you gamble on it. If it was someone else, then I'm with you.
Okay.
If it's like a Devin Booker,
Right, but for Mikal Bridges, I'd rather.
Okay.
Me personally,
Yeah,
I'm not
yeah.
an NBA GM. I'm just talking
I
in
agree.
my.
I'm talking NBA GM perspective, but go ahead. Yeah, but like
Yeah, no, I get it. Like,
his mentality
his
this
job is to
offseason.
build the best team
Right.
he could possibly build.
Leon
So,
Rose's
right.
mentality was if we beat the Celtics, we could beat anybody.
Yeah.
Exactly what Minnesota did, and that's why they lost to Dallas because they said we could beat Denver, we could beat anybody, and they couldn't. And the same thing happened with the Knicks. They said if we could beat Boston, we could beat anybody. We get Mikal Bridges, we could beat Boston. That's how that happened.
And it happened.
And they beat
I mean,
Boston.
shit, it worked, but then now what? Like that's my thing. Like now what?
But we were saying now what?
work.
Like,
Also,
I
if you
get
don't
go.
trade
for years.
So here's my thing. I understand we're happy with the conference finals. I get that, and I'm okay with that. Like, cool, great. We had a really great season, best season in 25 years. But guess what? Now the expectation is go win a fucking championship. So how do we do that? We need to now make different moves. But that one move has caused your franchise to not be able to make those other moves.
100%.
So we are stuck where we're at.
Right, and that's the thing. It's like we praise Leon Rose, and rightfully so. Like he should be praised. He's done a really damn good job. But we all knew the final thing was taking all these assets that he's accumulated over the past few years and probably cashing in on Julius Randle having a pretty tradable contract and accumulating all these picks and cashing in for a big splash that like again, I always thought it just made so much sense to be Giannis.
I always said the same thing. Yeah.
We all thought
Nope.
he would be available, but whether or not it was Giannis or not, but a big splash.
Yeah.
And the big splash was Cat and Mikal, and it's just like again, like you kind of
We
like,
sat
you're-
there and talked
said
about that.
Exactly
Yeah.
this.
Said
right,
exactly
like-
this.
and it's just like it really is like now what? And as a fan, based on what he's done compared to what every other person in charge of these things has done for the Knicks over these years, have blind faith in him.
100%.
Like I
Yes.
can't, you know what I mean? Like compared to what you guys
Yeah.
have been through, like have faith in him that he'll make some random move and be creative.
and that's the
figure
point of it
out.
all, though. Like,
But
like
it's
I
just-
agree with you. Like on paper, we look at that and we say, "What can the Knicks do? They look pretty stuck." He's a professional.
I'm not
But the thing
disagreeing
is, the
with
Knicks
that.
The Knicks aren't a random move, a random, you know.
The cat trade was pretty random, was it not?
But here's the
That's
thing.
not what
So here,
That's how
just
you're right. It wasn't random, but I'm just saying like.
it,
Like random trades around the edges was what I was saying, and that just
They're not an
seemed-
Nikhil Alexander Walker away from
no,
that.
we're not.
Right.
We're
It just
so far
seems
from that.
like all
Are
that-
we so far from that? We came
Yes,
I mean,
2
we
games
are.
away from
We
the
are,
finals.
but we are.
We came 2 games away from the NBA Finals.
That thing didn't fall, right?
No.
Oh, there's nothing in it. I'm talking about there's nothing in that. Cool.
I feel like a weight on there.
My thing is like we are. Like I'm sorry. I know we just made the Eastern Conference Finals, but we just lost to the Pacers, and I'm sorry to say OKC is not fucking going anywhere.
Okay, but-
you want to win a fucking finals? You got to get through that team.
Okay, but the Pacers went on a generational playoff run that I'm sorry, probably a little lucky. They're playing insane basketball,
We keep saying
and they're not
lucky.
missing shots.
We keep saying they're lucky.
Bro, the
We
Pacers
keep
had
saying they're lucky.
three of the 4 7.50-second comeback playoff wins ever. Bro,
so loaded.
like, I'm sorry, but like,
Oh, it's mine.
that ain't never happening again. It never happened before, never will happen again.
Well,
Like,
guess what?
the-
It happened. Like it happened to
yeah,
us.
thanks, dog. That's
So-
what I'm
so
explaining
here's
to
my-
you.
so here's my-
It
here's my
took
thing.
that. It took that team to take down what we already have.
I'm-
It's not as bad as you think it is.
I'm not saying it's bad. I'm not
But
saying it's bad.
you're up
I'm
here
saying this
screaming like
current.
the
I'm
Knicks are
saying this
stuck in-
current. They are stuck. What are you missing, Dean? They are stuck.
It's the NBA. This guy gets paid millions of dollars to figure it out. He'll figure it out. Do I know the answer? No.
Dean,
We
but-
can't just say this guy will figure it out because there's how many GMs in the NBA who don't
figure it out.
But thus far,
Every year-
he's figured it out.
every
so
year-
far.
But he hasn't.
What's
Dean.
he figured
He
out?
made a Mikal Bridges trade for 5 first-round picks. That is not allowing us to go get the superstar that would potentially win us a
the
championship.
one blemish on his resume, though.
But
He
it's
took
the
a
biggest blemish.
trash doo-doo garbage team, and in 5
Let me
years,
ask you something.
Dean, we can't win a championship
perennial
because of
playoff
that
team.
now.
ask me a
Can
question.
Jalen Brunson be the best player on a championship team?
Maybe.
I'm gonna need a hard yes or no for that. In your opinion,
That's a great
this
question.
is your
actually.
opinion.
What do you think, Pete?
Playing at the level he's playing at, yes.
Can Jalen Brunson be the best player?
The best player on a team that wins an NBA championship.
Wins an NBA
Wins.
championship, not goes, has to beat a juggernaut from the. Because again, we all know the Western Conference and the Eastern Conference are two completely different sports.
That's where I'm at. Yeah.
Win an NBA Finals.
That's what I was saying.
I'm gonna say yes or no, and then like elaborate a little bit. I'm gonna say yes, but a big but, and I know but sometimes takes away from the
It
yes.
definitely
little
does,
bit,
but
yeah.
go ahead.
Because if he has the right players to plug around him, very much so. But also, the reason why I say yes is because we are seeing some historical stats of some big names that he's
100%.
playing like in the playoffs. So
Agreed.
So it's fair to say yeah. I think yes.
So now I ask a follow-up question. Is Karl Anthony Towns the second best player to
Not-
put next to a Jalen
Not
Brunson?
on a team with Jalen Brunson.
Thank you. That is my point. Okay, so now I propose. Go ahead, Dean.
You think Brunson?
But like, how are you supposed to know that before you make the trade?
We
What is your
just
point?
fucking watched it, dude.
What's your job?
No.
Like,
we're
you
not
could
saying
think-
don't
but
go
if-
make the trade.
No, the cat. Yeah,
Okay.
Cat trade. I
Yeah,
have
cat trade's
no
fine,
problem
yeah.
with.
And he was
I agree.
great. He was All NBA second
made it.
team, bro.
I don't agree.
I wouldn't have made it. You know why I wouldn't have made it?
He
Because
was an All NBA player. He was a top 10 player in the league this year.
Yeah, but
he was.
And we said, Matt, when it really came to fruition that iHeart wasn't coming back, you couldn't roll into this season with only
Randall
Mitchell-
next to Mitch, yeah.
Not even just Randall next to Mitch, only Mitchell Robinson, who missed
True.
40. You know what I mean? Like,
True.
So like, and out of everyone they could have possibly got, who was could have been potentially available last summer, Cat probably the best
Yeah,
guy.
I
they
know
should've
you
got.
love iHeart, and I know I
much.
understand
Right,
that.
so
we
much.
could reminisce
had
and we
to do the
could
cat
we could
trade.
dream
Yeah,
about
that was
iHeart
a
coming
must.
back, but right, the reality is reality. He overplayed his contract, played way better than what the Knicks were even allowed to offer him, and he went away. I did not burp again.
didn't?
No.
You did.
kid's got a special sense.
I do.
So they made the cat move. That's to say you'd go back and not do it is so silly because he was a top 10 player this year. Listen, is Cat a playoff riser? We know he's not. But Jalen Brunson sure damn is.
But Dean, it's not just about having one guy that rises in the playoffs.
Okay,
one guy that
you have
falls
OG
in the
Anunoby
playoffs.
who has a ring. You have Mikal Bridges who's played in the
Dude,
finals.
OG didn't fucking play in that playoff run, so let's not do that. Don't do that.
He's played in the playoffs, Matt. He's a seasoned veteran. He's played in the playoffs.
But saying he has a fucking ring and he didn't fucking play in the playoff run
Okay,
is fucking
Mikal
stupid.
Bridges played in the finals. Cat has played in the Western Conference Finals, which is a different sport. It's a different sport.
It is. No, you're right about that.
And he's performed.
Bro, he was not good in that Western Conference Finals.
He didn't lock up Nikola Jokic.
So
That wasn't the Western Conference Finals.
So, I disagree with you guys. I don't think Jalen Brunson can be the best player on a team
I
that
have to
wins an
agree.
NBA championship.
That's
And
why I
you
said a lot
agree
of-
with me.
Unfortunately.
That's why I said a lot of
That's
yeah.
the disconnect here. That's the disconnect because what we're saying is, we all knew Leon Rose doing a great job accumulating all these assets to go all in. The all-in move had to get at least a 1B to
Yes.
Brunson, not a guy who is because
Right, that's where I teeter.
Cat,
Yeah.
for as much of an All-NBA player as he is, let's what do the kids say? Call a spade a spade.
Bingo.
Jalen Brunson and Cat are two different
Yeah.
tiers of player.
Yeah.
You needed,
But, like-
you needed a guy
On
and
Brunson's tier.
again, I
Or
understand.
higher.
Like, what are you gonna do?
They don't
Wait.
grow on trees.
So,
Right, but it's the NBA, bro.
I got
There's
a
so
proposal.
much player movement. Like again, I understand, like, you have to make moves, you have to do your job, but it's just like, in my personal opinion, Leon Rose rushed this thing a little bit. I feel like that's a fair thing to say. Because, again, it just, to me, it feels like going forward, the Knicks are kind of stuck with this core. And we could go back to what we started the podcast with, to where, again, I disagree with you guys, to where I don't know if it's the right thing to do, but I feel like the only thing to do, sadly, and it's crazy to say because he led them to their best season in 25 years, the only thing to do is fire Thibs. I think that's the only way this team could get better is to unlock a different version of this group of guys with potentially a different coach. Because we've seen it before with Steve Kerr when he took over from Mark Jackson. We just saw it with the Cavs this year. We've seen it's happened before. So to me, that just seems like the only answer. Can it be the wrong answer? Sure. But it seems like the only potential answer you could write down on the test. What you take in a test and you're like, you have to, not multiple choice, you have to write in an answer and something comes to your mind and you're like, damn, I know this is wrong, but it's the only thing I could think of right now. So you have 10 minutes left and you still got 20 questions to do. Right. You got to write it down because it's the only thing you could think of. And me personally, and again, I'm not an NBA GM. I'm not a president of basketball operations. Leon Rose is, and he's better at that than I will ever be. So maybe he has something up his sleeve that I can't think of right now sitting in front of these cameras. And that's totally possible. And we could come back here in 3 months and you could say, well, Chris, I fucking told you Leon Rose is the GOAT. And I'll say, you got me. But the way I see it, the only option for this core of guys to take that next step forward, because I think we could all agree for the Knicks to get to the top of the mountain and win an NBA championship, this group has to take another step. I think that's a fair thing to say. And to me, the only thing that makes sense is maybe going a different direction, coaching.
But if you want to say this team needs to go and take another step, like, Giannis is not feasible. It's not happening anymore.
But that goes back to last offseason, dude.
But again, like the Giannis thing, like it's not a lock that you're going to get. Giannis could come out and say, "I want to go to the West," and then you're fucked. Like,
I agree with that. Also, but we would have had we would have had a very competitive package 100%. Had the Mikal trade never happened.
But also, you take a step up.
I agree.
OKC's 3 steps up from you, so you're down regardless, Matt. So
bro, you go get Giannis, for example. Okay, so here...
You're still not on the level of OKC.
Bro, stop that. You have fucking Giannis and Jalen Brunson. That changes everything. Just them two alone changes everything.
Minus half your thin depth. Minus half your depth that you already have.
Looking at like a totally different scenario.
Right. Yes.
Right. It's a whole different ballgame.
Yeah. So like we can't.
It'd be a very different team.
Like again, we're supposed to trust Leon Rose, right? Because he's so good. I trust that if the Knicks went out and got Giannis, he would have been able to build the rotation around him.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I'm 100% with you on that.
I know, but like, so the NBA is not like these GMs. They can't just be like you wait a year. Let's say you wait a year for Giannis. You have another big injury to another player, like untradeable guy.
Season where you guys all said and preached and preached and preached. They lost because they were hurt. So again, why wouldn't you try to run it back to some extent? You can't get him back, so you go and get a center like it's Cat like is what it is, but you go and get Cat, who like we just established 5 minutes ago was the best potential option to be your new center, who's a much better player than Isaiah Hartenstein. Does he fit as well? We don't know, but he was by far he's an all NBA level center, and you still could have potentially seen it not work out this year and went and got.
Still had a bunch of firsts.
Had all those picks, and now Karl Anthony Towns
contract
who matches and had the best package to go get Giannis. That's what I'm saying. So to me, the Mikal thing was what rushed everything. You didn't have to mortgage everything away to go get a guy who's never been an All-Star.
That's 100%. Great, but it already happened. I agree with you. Yeah,
right. So
it wasn't the best move.
This is the argument.
Right.
Dean.
That's what I'm saying.
We're looking.
Okay, so you want me to look to the future? Okay, so let's look to the
Okay, we
future.
know
Let's
what
look to the
happened.
future. Now I pose this trade because I think, in my opinion, and I've said it over and over and over again, this is the only fucking way the New York Knicks can fix themselves. And if you don't agree, that's perfectly okay. But Karl Anthony Towns and Devin Booker are the best of friends. If Phoenix decides that they don't want Booker to walk, which it seems is the case because he just signed a big deal, Kevin Durant wants to fucking leave. Karl Anthony Towns for Kevin Durant. I'm doing it every single time and twice on fucking Tuesday.
I'm doing it, but
I
I
don't agree.
think he has better chance of going to the Timberwolves.
We will talk about that one as well.
Right, yeah.
To me, that seems like the only option.
Thank you.
You trade Cat for a player better than Cat, which is KD. Obviously, he's older. There's some question marks about his age, but KD's better than Cat.
I don't
We
give
all
a
know that.
shit.
We
Yeah.
all know that, right?
Yeah.
You trade Cat for a player better than Cat, or you go in a coaching change to hopefully unlock something out of this core of guys. Because you know what? I'm going to go out on a limb and say a hot take that I know you guys are going to get upset with. Because, again, I think the Mikal Bridges thing fucked everything up. And I know you agree. The Knicks are not winning a championship in the next 7 years. Maybe after 7 years.
Great, we haven't even been to the Eastern Conference Finals in 25.
But
So,
now you gotta adjust the expectations.
As a fan, like, enjoy
but
it.
you guys don't think it's like
Touch your
in the realm of possibility? Like, we watched the Pacers from last year to this year. Did they make many major changes? No. They got drastically better, though. You don't think a year of continuity, you have 2 new starters that came into the rotation that got heavy minutes. You don't think another year of playing together, getting off to a faster start, and being able to figure things out later, like, you don't think running it back is a possibility?
Do you trust Thibs to do that, to get that leap out of this group of guys? I'm being
Why
genuine.
not? We've gotten
Okay.
better every year.
Okay,
That's
so
the
now-
disconnect me and you have.
We've
because
gotten
I
better
don't.
literally every
agree.
year. We've had Jalen Brunson on the
Okay, so
team.
now here's my follow-up.
Sorry. You guys have gotten better because the roster has gotten better, and what we've been saying for 20 minutes
Because
is
you have
guys
continuity, too.
You guys have not
You
had continuity.
You do not have
You guys
continuity
probably had
right
the
now.
most roster turnover out of anyone over the past 3 years.
Where's the continuity?
I'm talking about between the first couple years of Brunson, and then you make the big changes, which is why the continuity, it takes a step back. You need to keep running the guys out on the court for them to have the continuity. Like, you're going to have another roster turnover, and then you're not going to figure
Okay,
it out by
okay.
playoff time again.
So here's what I'll say to you. The Pacers are very different because their team is well constructed for both ends of the court. Our 2 best players cannot play defense in the playoffs. They cannot. And that is why
but you, in theory, have 2 of the best perimeter defenders in the league.
Dean, in
on this
theory
court at the
is
same
the
time.
great, and we
the
just
coach
had
keeps
that.
getting better on unlocking new things. The Knicks offense was the best it was in probably 10 years. And I'll tell you this. The Knicks offense wasn't the best it was in 10 years because of the coach. The Knicks offense was the best it was in 10 years because of the personnel and
Yes.
all the roster changes they made. Because I don't trust Thibs to, like what you said at the start, to make a more complex and cohesive
Creative, yeah,
offensive system, because that's
Yeah.
not who Tom Thibodeau is. Because like you always said for the 3 years we've done this podcast, your famous line, there is a ceiling on Tom Thibodeau-led teams. Sadly, we saw the ceiling. And even if they went to the finals, we still would have seen, there is a ceiling on what Tom Thibodeau, because this whole Knicks offense, the Pacers locked it up. Boy, oh boy. Okay,
Oh God, that's what I was saying.
and it's
yes.
and we saw the Cavs. And again, this is my point. This is why I just think it's the only feasible option that makes sense. We saw the Cavs have a great group of guys, take a step forward every year, deal with some injuries, like the Knicks dealt with injuries last year. But they went and switched out a defensive-minded guy, a hard-nosed hustle guy in J.B. Bickerstaff, and brought in an offensive guru in Kenny Atkinson, and they were the best team in the goddamn East.
Right,
You know
I
what
think
mean? And granted, they didn't get to the mountaintop like they should have, but, they had a tough...
they had issues, yeah.
Tough...
That wasn't Kenny Atkinson.
They ran
Right,
into a
right,
buzzsaw.
Right, yeah, they had a tough deck of cards dealt to them. But...
I think if you told me you were swapping out Thibs for Mike Malone, I'm probably on board. But
I don't even know how I feel.
It's just
about
not going to
Malone.
happen. Like, they've already said that he's not
Yeah,
going
I mean,
anywhere.
Yeah,
Mike
they're not
Malone
gonna-
is a Jokic
Shit,
merchant.
like-
right, Thibs just isn't going anywhere.
I'm not the
guess
biggest
probably.
Tibbs lover. Like,
Yeah, Thibs just isn't
I'm not
going
going to
anywhere,
bed
so
with Tibbs,
it's
but
not
No, I've
happening.
accepted that. That's
Yeah,
why
yeah,
I'm
he's
not
just
even
not
saying
going
fire
anywhere.
Thibs
It
because
just-
I've accepted
it
we're
is
not
what it
going
is,
to.
Yeah. Would I be happy with a Mike Malone hire? I would be freaking ecstatic. Yes, I agree. That is the biggest thing they could do. It's not going to happen. The only thing that can change is the personnel, which I don't foresee happening much of either.
So
right.
you,
So that's the thing. That's the thing. You're kind of that Bailey Zimmerman song. I know you're country guy. Legalize that shit. Stuck between a rock and a hard place. You know what I'm saying?
spitting over here.
Yeah.
You feel me? Like,
I feel
and
you.
again, like the Knicks can totally have a better regular season than they had this year due to having roster continuity and get off to a hotter start, like you said. But at the end of the day, there is a ceiling on this team.
Yeah.
There's a ceiling on this team. And, could they have things break their way, see teams injured in the Eastern Conference, see teams like the Celtics lose earlier than expected, and like the Pacers did, avoid a team like the Celtics and make a run at the finals? Sure. But this core of Knicks team with Tom Thibodeau at coach and this group of guys being the main guys will never win an NBA championship. And they don't have much roster flexibility to really increase the ceiling on this team. Sure, they can make moves around the edges that maybe give them a few more wins here and there in the regular season, but at the end of the day, the Knicks are, again, back to the point from 10 minutes ago, the Knicks are a player on Brunson's tier or better than him away from being a true title contender.
This is going to sound silly. Are the Pacers true finals contenders?
No.
Okay, so who are real true finals contenders then? It's the Thunder and...
The Nuggets.
The
No.
Thunder, the Nuggets.
The Nuggets are not true finals contenders. We just sat up here and said they're going to go under a rebuild.
What's the team that we're saying is the true title contender right now? The Oklahoma City Thunder. Who pushed the Oklahoma City Thunder the furthest?
Who
Well, yeah, I mean,
are gonna
obviously
rebuild their
this year,
team.
like OKC
Right,
is in a
but
tier
yeah.
of their own.
Yeah.
They are.
obviously.
They are. Yeah.
So if they're the only finals contender,
what? You have to compete with that team.
there is no competing with that team.
Okay.
They
Right,
they
but
went
again-
under.
But
they
there
went under
is
10
if you make
they,
a
they went under
move.
like 7 years of accumulating picks and the waiting game. Like we don't have 7 years.
They really
anymore.
didn't
Right,
do
but
the
the Knicks
whole waiting
had
game.
the Knicks.
They did though.
The Knicks
tanked
had
1 year.
a farm of extra draft capital and really movable contracts that they could have used to cash in to go get a
I know,
real
it
guy.
sucks.
Right. So that's what we're saying.
But that's what we're saying to you because you said you have blind faith in Leon Rose, and I'm trying to tell you that he
can
made
have
the
all the
biggest
blind-
mistake
yeah.
I still
that he
do
could
have
made.
faith in Leon Rose. Yeah, he made a mistake.
The
we are
mistake.
Still, we are still as a franchise in a way better position than we were than when he
We all know
started.
that.
But Dean, the
We all know that.
expectations.
Okay.
But you're
So-
missing the point that you're still in
So
the
yeah,
land
I'm gonna
of
follow
wow.
what he
The Knicks
does.
just had the best season they've had in 25 years, and I agree. I am so happy as a Knicks fan that we did what we just did. But now I'm looking at it as okay. We just did that. Now the New York Knicks need to be looked at as title contenders. How do we get to the point that our team is a title contender that can actually legitimately compete for an NBA championship? I'm not looking at it anymore like, okay, conference finals next year, here we go. No, we did that now. Now, how the fuck do we take the next step? How the fuck do we get there? How do we win a championship?
That's genuine, and you could be wrong, but that's what we want the answer to because we're saying that there's no way to get there, right? That's what we've been saying.
No,
and you're
I
telling
agree
us we're
because the
wrong.
Thunder are so good and the Celtics, when healthy, are so good.
So you agree that there's no way for the Knicks to get there with this group of guys.
I think if they would have won this series, they could have.
Bro, they weren't beating the Thunder with this team. They
would've beat the Nuggets.
As much as we may want to say it, we got outclassed by the Pacers. We got outclassed by the Pacers.
The Pacers are shooting at a historical clip.
Bro, that wasn't why we fucking lost the series, though.
Well, we played lazy defense.
Didn't help.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
but that's the thing. Like, if y'all
Jesus.
beat,
Help,
if y'all beat the Pacers,
they didn't
it just
shoot
would've
lights out
been-
every game.
It just
Yeah.
would have been more people jumping up on billboards and jumping off of street signs. But ultimately, if you guys beat the
Gotham
Pacers, we'd be in the same place we are right now just 2 weeks from now.
After
'Cause we-
probably a
Most likely, yeah.
sweep.
Because we do a podcast, so every time a team loses, what's our first thing in the group chat?
What's next for the
this team in the offseason? So we'd be in the same place we are in 2 weeks from now, just 2 weeks from now,
That we're going to be
we
in
hit
for the
more,
Pacers.
with more injuries in the city and maybe some buildings burned down.
We hit the weight room and we shoot some free throws. That's what the Knicks are doing this
well,
offseason.
good luck to that, bro.
That's the what next.
So I'll ask you guys.
Go ahead.
I proposed that trade before. I'm sorry that I
ahead.
just cut you off. Each of you, like you
I
included,
hate this kid.
do you do it?
Wait. Give us like a sorry for the sake of it. Maybe I post this on TikTok.
Would you trade
like a
Cat?
TikTok hook to that trade? You know what I mean?
Okay, so in my opinion, there's only one real way for the Knicks to improve themselves this offseason and become true championship contenders. And I think that is Karl Anthony Towns being traded to the Phoenix Suns for Kevin Durant. Look, Devin Booker probably going to end up staying in Phoenix. It seems like that's the writing on the wall. And there's only one way that they keep him happy. You bring in his best friend. You keep Devin Booker happy, whole lot of money, and then you move Kevin Durant to the place that he should have been 5-6 years ago. So, Karl Anthony Towns for Kevin Durant. Who says no? What do you think?
I mean, I think the Suns are. I guess if they're keeping Booker, then how can they like retool and rebuild? You know what I mean? So, if their idea is be competitive, then maybe they go get Cat. And I'm just trying to think of it from like a logistical perspective. Like Cat just
I
had the
want
best
that
season.
and your Knick fan perspective.
Yeah, of course.
Please.
Yeah. So Leon Rose is sitting up there and he's saying, well, this guy just had the best season of his career. Like, am I going to trade him for Kevin Durant right now? I don't know. As a Knick fan, I like our odds better at Kevin Durant on our team better than Karl Anthony Towns. I think if Kevin Durant's in this series, we might win this series.
Yes.
So, there's the. Yeah, I probably do. Yeah, I'd pull the trigger on it. You get KD and sure, 36, whatever he is, probably don't got that. All right, probably don't got that much time left out there. And then, but then if he retires a Knick, that's $50 million off your books, and then you have a little bit more flexibility with Jalen Brunson with the $100 million pay cut. So yeah, I'll do that.
Thank you
trade.
for saying that too. That's another part of the trade.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I assume in this scenario the Suns get a pick back.
Yes,
right?
we're giving them the Washington first. That's fine.
Right. So for the sake of the Suns, this is exactly what they want. Based on all the reports, they want to, they don't want to move off KD, but I think the two have decided it makes sense.
KD wants to move off of them.
Right. It
Yeah.
makes sense to move on. And from what I've seen and read, the Suns want to remain competitive to some extent, but recoup some assets. So that's exactly what this trade does for them. So I'm the Suns. I do it in a heartbeat, right? In terms of the Knicks, I just think Kevin Durant, to me, can still be the best player on a championship team. And I don't think Jalen Brunson can be the best player on a championship team. Shout out Becky Hammond. So I think this move just makes too much sense for the Knicks. You get a guy who could take the pressure off of Jalen Brunson, who, as great as he is, I think we can all agree in this playoff run, there was too much pressure on him.
Yes.
There was
Yep.
just too much pressure on him. And Cat was not able to consistently relieve the pressure off him. So I think it's a win-win for both sides.
Yeah. No, I think it's definitely a win for both sides. I do think that the Knicks should start off by trying to trade Mikal to one of these teams, maybe the Spurs, to get some of those picks back, kind of undo the whole thing we were just talking about. Maybe not get everything back that they traded for him, but
Yeah, what idiot would trade 5 first-round picks from Mikal
Right.
Bridges?
Yeah, nobody.
I wonder.
that.
You're looking at me like I'm Leon Rose, bro.
Well, you're the base Leon Rose defender, so
Yeah, I'm
So-
a Knicks fan, and he's got me to the point I am today.
So if we're able to capture some of those, some of those draft picks back, and then it's more of a conversation. Now we have some picks, and we have Cat, and we have a couple of options. It'll also be a little bit more appealing for the Suns to kind of want to give up KD. I mean, I don't know if they'll want some picks with Mikal, or if they would just do a straight up trade. But yeah, Chris-
they ain't trading back from
So-
Mikal, brother.
I don't think the Knicks would have to, and I don't think essentially what you're saying is the Knicks would be trading Cat and Mikal to get KD. And I
but they
get
get some picks too.
right,
KD
which
and some
they
picks.
would
Yeah.
use, but they would use those picks to go get.
I'm
KD,
saying
right?
it gives them more ammo in case they need to utilize it.
So I think losing Mikal and Cat, as great as KD is too much. Like overall,
you just get worse.
I think
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
yeah,
making that
yeah.
KD trade to put it together with the current nucleus. That's the thing. It's just replacing Cat with KD.
right. And
You
I think-
basically want to. Sorry, you
Yeah, go ahead.
basically want to have a core of Jalen Brunson out there with these huge wings who could defend multiple positions, Mikal, OG, and KD, and then a rim protecting big in Mitchell Robinson.
And then sign another guy.
Who you lacked all regular season, which is why you couldn't beat a good team.
Yeah.
And who came up huge for you throughout the postseason. You know what I mean?
No, 100%. No, that actually puts things a lot more into perspective. Yeah. So
you're with that or with my idea?
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, 100%.
Can't wait for this one.
People be burping though, bro. I just got another whiff.
Nobody burped, did you?
Can we for what?
No, I want to hear your opinion on this.
Yeah, I'll take Kevin Durant.
All right.
I mean,
Great analysis.
how many, what is he, 7 years older than Cat, though? You know, that's
36, I think.
He's
Kids
about to be
call him an
37,
unk.
I'm pretty sure.
the problem with
do
that,
call him
right? I mean, you trade your young top 10 player in the league
Young
for
is pushing it. He's 30.
Like
now,
28,
but
yeah, 29.
7
yeah,
years
yeah,
younger than
yeah.
the guy you're trading for.
How old is KD now?
Significant, 36.
37, about to be.
Really? Ooh.
Pretty old.
Right, but you get
For an NBA
KD
That's not
player.
for an
and
NBA player.
Still
yeah.
50, 40, 90, like good
Yeah.
defender.
Still.
Like, what the fuck are we talking about?
He's aging. He's probably only getting worse.
But he really hasn't.
Still
to
better
this
than
point.
Cat.
Like, he's still better than
He's also
Cat.
still
KD
better
would
than
be
Cat,
a
yeah.
great plug-in for the Knicks.
Was he better than Cat this season?
Yes.
Yeah, overall.
When he played, yes.
He wasn't all NBA, but like, yeah, he was a on
didn't
the
make
court, he was
All-NBA 'cause
a better
he missed a
basketball.
bunch of
Oh yeah,
games.
yeah, sure. But he was a better player.
Okay.
Also,
yeah, I would
The
do
Suns
the
were
trade.
a above 500 team with Kevin Durant. this
KD was
year.
like 26 a game still, 27
Yeah.
a game still on like 50, 40, 90.
Also,
like
do
insane.
we think Kevin
and
Durant
plays defense.
Yeah. Do we think Kevin Durant stays healthy if he comes to the Knicks though? Is his health?
I
I think he'll be good to go for the playoffs.
I was
Yeah.
about to say that. I think you actually could do a really good job of managing that
Yeah.
with the
We
Knicks.
trust Thibs to do that.
I mean, the
Now
Knicks
we
stayed
lose,
pretty
man.
healthy all year.
The knees better be good to
Ideally, I think Thibs would not be dumb enough to play a 37-year-old Kevin Durant 37
Dumb
or 38
enough, maybe
minutes
not,
a
but
game.
stubborn enough, definitely.
It's the only thing we could do, but
No,
it
he won't play him
sucks.
37. He'll play him
30.
40.
like our only option is a 30. Like, when have you ever heard of something like that ever working?
LeBron
Ever.
James. Okay.
Bro, but here's what
Yeah,
here's the
LeBron
point
was
that
like
you're missing,
35
and
when he
then
went to the Lakers.
we will end this Knicks conversation. Kevin Durant is our only chance at competing for a
Right, Kevin
championship
Durant's
at this
not your typical 36, 37-year-old
Yes.
star. Like, he's
Right.
still a superstar. Like,
He's a guy that is built to play till he's 40 years old.
yeah.
Because of his play style.
He's got another 3 years.
Yes.
How long do you think we get KD for though? How long do we sign him for?
So you
2
get
years?
him, and then here's the beauty of it. Like, you now give yourself flexibility in terms of the cap. Like, Cat's contract is like, it is what it is right now, and you're probably gonna have to extend him. Kevin Durant, it's like, all right, he retires a Knick, he retires a Knick. You get that money and you're good. Like, now you could go do something with that $55 million. Like, Cat, it's like, he ain't retiring, and if you lose him for nothing, you're fucked. And what's his trade value? Not much, because nobody wants that contract. So
why haven't KD-led teams done much in the last few years?
The Suns were a disaster.
Suns
They
were
were so
just-
poorly put together
Why
outside
didn't
of
he
KD
win
and
with the
Booker.
Nets? Why is he?
Well, we're
Kyrie and Harden
we're
got
a
hurt
toe
when they were
away
the
from
Nets.
him winning with the Nets, if we're being entirely
Got
honest.
really
but
unlucky. He missed one.
Got
whole
really
year
unlucky.
because he tore his Achilles.
Yeah.
that too.
The year against the Bucks, he got super duper unlucky because everyone got hurt.
I mean, he had 50 in that game 7.
He did. He
Yeah.
definitely
He didn't
did.
score in
then-
overtime,
And
but
then after that, Kyrie and Harden was out of there
Yep.
midway through the next year, and that was COVID times, and Kyrie was an absolute head case. Like,
Kyrie
and
was
then
out
he
there in the
goes
Bucks
to
series.
Phoenix,
yeah.
and they're basically the greatest team ever with Chris Paul, Devin Booker, KD, and DeAndre
Bro.
Ayton.
And they sell the
for
phone
whatever
Bradley Beal.
reason-
And they sell everything for Bradley Beal. Like, he just, I mean, like, he definitely some of it is on him. Like, he could be better in certain moments, but also
his
like
biggest
he's
hater.
gotten like super duper. Like, he's just.
No, it's the only
I
move we
think
can
it's
make. I
honestly,
agree.
You know
but-
what? I always be talking about the basketball gods. Like, it's the basketball gods getting back at him for going to Golden State.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
100,000% yes.
Like, I feel like that's what it is more than like X's and O's and analysis. Like, the basketball gods just starting on KD's
And
side.
fucking the
But
Knicks over.
Shit, if he comes to the Knicks, maybe the basketball gods will be on his side.
Bingo, exactly. Exactly.
Basketball gods were never going to be on KD's side in Phoenix, bro. Phoenix, bro.
New York deserves
He could
it,
redeem
man.
himself.
Exactly. It's the perfect story.
Yeah, nobody cares if Phoenix wins a championship.
Think about it. Kevin Durant goes and wins a title for New York. Bro, You know what that does for his fucking legacy?
Bro, it would get nasty.
Yeah, we're talking
my
top
God.
10 officially,
Top 10.
guaranteed.
He wins the
top
next title.
10. One season,
I got-
he'd be the greatest
I
Knick
only-
of all
yeah,
time.
yeah.
LeBron James
I
never
only-
won a title with the Knicks.
I only need one hand for that. You know what I mean? Like to count where Kevin Durant's at. My other hand will be occupied, but no.
For him, I might need two hands.
Oh my god.
Our hands, we'd need probably a lot more than just two.
Need all hands on
Two hands
deck.
and
I
a,
got
two
big
hands and a
hands, so-
throat.
Damn.
Ten hands and 5 throats.
Shit, you know we can get done with that, bro. Like we can get anyone of the Knicks with that.
12 hands. 12 hands.
That's our pitch to get Kevin Durant to New York.
Yep.
That.
12
Just put
hands,
that.
6 throats.
Throats
You heard
and
it here
goats.
first, Kevin.
Throats and goats.
I don't know how we're going to talk about the Minnesota
I was
Timberwolves.
gonna say, let's do that another time and just do
Yeah.
our finals preview.
I said
Sure.
so.
That was
Yeah.
an all Knicks pod. Yeah, nice. Respect.
Shout out to Timberwolves.
I think we need an all Knicks pod.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, that's good.
Well, something
We had a lot
talked
to air
about
out.
for
A
while.
lot. Yeah.
We had a lot
What a
to air
time
out.
we had
Uh-huh.
on the podcast talking about
Man,
I know.
it was a good ride.
It really
like-
was. I enjoyed it.
Beating Boston wasn't nothing. Like that was good.
growing.
Like,
And
if we beat Boston, if we lose to Boston, we get swept by Boston. It's way different conversation. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
it sucks right now.
yeah, exactly.
and I hope the next time we talk about the Knicks, we're talking about some outstanding trade
Yeah.
that changes the whole perspective of our next season.
Yep.
I agree,
You know?
Pete. Good
Yeah,
point.
so-
All right, so it's official, fellas. Oklahoma City Thunder and the Indiana Pacers are going to be squaring off in what could potentially be an entertaining finals matchup. So, who's winning? How many games? OKC or Indy?
It is the corniest finals matchup I've ever seen in my life,
Battle
man.
of aura
So
or
I
lack
got-
thereof.
Yeah. All right. I got OKC in 6. That's that.
Nice.
I have nothing else to fucking say.
Nope.
No.
Nah, you gotta,
No.
I gotta give a reason.
All right. I'll give a reason. So didn't how many games did the Timberwolves beat against OKC? 2.
They won one game.
Won
They
one
won
game?
one game.
So with that being said, I do think the Pacers are slightly more competitive, a little bit of a better team than the Timberwolves, but not that much better. I do think that the Pacers get a little bit lucky once or twice. So it's either going to be OKC in 5 or 6. I'm leaning more towards 6 because I don't think they're going to like sweep them. You know what I mean? So I got OKC in 6. I would love to see it. I want to see a young team get some rings on their finger. And
The
I think they
youngest,
deserve
by the
it.
way.
The youngest, and I think they very much deserve it. When was the last time OKC won a chip?
Never.
Never.
Neither team have never won.
So
have
the
ever won a
Oklahoma
championship.
Really? In
City
history?
Thunder, the Oklahoma City Thunder have never won a title. I'm pretty sure the Seattle SuperSonics did win an NBA championship.
Way back when. Yeah.
So
KD
OKC, if it no, Katie never won a ring.
Has the
Bro, I didn't even
Supersonics
realize
ever
that.
won an NBA Finals?
Thanks, Siri.
1979, the
There you go.
Supersonics won a
But
championship.
OKC,
So OKC, when they changed over, they have never won a title
Yep.
in their 17 years of being a franchise.
despite
Yeah.
always being really good.
Yes,
Yeah.
and they even had Golden State down 3-1 the
Yep.
year that Golden State blew a 3-1 lead in the finals.
nuts. Yeah,
So-
yeah,
And they lost the finals with KD, Harden,
To
and
LeBron, yeah.
yeah.
To the Heatles.
They went to the
Yes,
finals.
they did make the finals in 2012 and
They lost it to the
Yeah.
Heatles. Yep.
So
Yeah.
a lot of history there in
Yeah.
17 years. But
So I think the Pacers come out with a little bit of heat. I think they get at least one win on them. I do think OKC's going to win. Like if I'm going to say who's going to win the whole series, it's OKC. And how many games? I think 5 or 6. I think that Pacers got at least 1 or 2 on them. Reason being, I think they got a little bit of luck on their side. And reason 2, I don't think they're a terrible team. I don't think they're going to get swept out. You know what I mean? They're not. Clearly, the Pacers have proven they're not that team that's just going to get blown out in 4 games. you
Yeah.
know? So, yeah.
I would say they're going to be that team that would get blown out in 4 games, but the Pacers have the power of devil magic, and they will miraculously pull out one of these games.
One or 2.
Probably even
right?
game 1, and then lose 4 straight. I'm going Thunder in 5. I honestly think the Thunder are just a better version of the Pacers. Like, they have
Yeah.
a superstar guard at the top, and Shai's obviously on a different tier than Tyrese.
Of course.
And they have a super deep team that with guys that are just playing, above their level. And I don't think the Pacers can hang with them. Like I said, I just think the Thunder's superstar. The Thunder have the best player in the series. That's always going to give you an edge. And then I think the guys outside of that, starting 5, clear Thunder. I think the bench is the Thunder. And the Pacers are going to have a hard time making OKC play their brand of basketball because that's how the Pacers have won these series. They make these guys play their brand. And, I mean, as much as we praise Mikal, Dort and Caruso are different.
And
different
Kaysen.
series. Yeah. And when Tyrese isn't scoring, you just can't win a playoff series, let alone a final series, if your superstar player isn't scoring 25, 30 points a game. Like, he needs to be able to do that. And Tyrese is a guy that if his shot isn't falling, he defers to being a playmaker really quickly. And he's great at it, don't get me wrong, but those guys play some damn good defense. So I think he's going to have a hard time getting the others involved like he did against the Knicks and everyone else. So I'm going Thunder in 5.
Have you guys seen the Tyrese stat about
Missing his first shot?
how sick is that?
Insane, yeah.
Insane stat. Did you
What?
see that?
What was it?
So Tyrese Halliburton's numbers like significantly dip and fluctuate depending on if he makes his first shot of the game. Like, he's a 46% three-point shooter when he makes his first shot of the game, and it drops to like 31%
Yeah.
when he misses his first shot of the game. His
Yep.
points dip by like
Overall
6.
shooting percentage or just
His
3-point
three-point percentage. His points per game dropped by like 6 points. Like,
Wow.
yeah. That was a crazy stat.
That's all we had to do.
I guess how you take the over-under in the beginning of the game on this
Well,
one.
it
What
might be
happened?
like
Why
a
are you
live
covering your
bet.
nose again?
Somebody burped.
That was me. Birria taco.
No way.
Yeah.
You smell from
You
here?
didn't smell it? It's all right. It's not a big deal. I'm just protecting myself. Yeah. Protecting myself.
From what?
I'm trying to cause a scene, just protecting myself.
You're
Like
causing
Like in
scenes
SpongeBob,
every
when
time.
Covering my
SpongeBob
nose.
smells like shit and it like travels with him until it's like eating people up. And stuff. Or Family Guy when he floats to the pie and the smell of the pie is what he does.
That's how I feel right now. That's
He's
how I
afraid
feel.
of that.
Yeah.
What are you thinking, Dean?
Burp.
I'm thinking.
I don't think you're thinking that.
I'm thinking Thunders in 5.
Thunders more than.
The OKC
I mean, if they got
Thunder
two
in
Thunders
5.
out there, that's tough to deal with.
Yeah.
In 5. Yeah. I mean, they're clearly the better team. They've been the better team all year. The Pacers kind of came up as a little surprise. Go Pacers. Congrats to them for making the finals. But
Did you say
your-
go Pacers?
well, hang on.
Yes, sir.
Your little run ends now.
I hated that.
That shit's so
I
corny.
hated it so much.
Yeah. OKC in 5. I would say sweep, but it just never really happens like that. So
Devil magic,
5.
yeah.
What are you thinking?
I'm gonna take OKC to sweep them, pack them up light. Tyrese Halliburton, my friend, you're in for a rude awakening, my boy. Because this Thunder defense, this pick and roll defense, it's not Jalen Brunson and Cat out there on you. Go luck, Tyrese Halliburton. I think Shai's gonna have his way with every single defender on the Pacers. Neesmith, great job you did
yeah.
on Brunson, but Neesmith did, and his great job is holding the Brunson to 30 points per game. But Neesmith's good defensive moments against Brunson came with just being bigger than him, and Shai is
He ain't bigger than Shai.
Shai's 6'6". I mean, he probably a little stronger.
He's
than
stockier,
Shai,
yeah.
I
but,
don't know.
Yeah.
Shai's got that sneaky
Yeah,
strength. though.
Shai got so much more strength compared to a Brunson, and obviously
You got that
high-
sneaky
high on him.
length.
Yeah, so I think Shai's gonna have his way with
I don't
them,
think it's
and
sneaky.
I mean the way J-Dub and Chet played in this past series against the Timberwolves, that was
That's probably more like it.
Whoa.
the way J-Dub and Chet played against the Timberwolves. That was really all I needed to see from them to cement my stance on the Thunder. I needed to see them have a consistent playoff series
Same
of
here.
being great, and they were more than great against the Timberwolves.
Right.
So
Yep.
I think the Thunder are, like you mentioned, Tom, both of these teams have depth. The Thunder's depth is just simply better. And then at the top end, the Thunder's top end guys are just simply better. They're well coached as well. I'd probably say Rick Carlisle is a better coach than Mark Dagnall, but Mark Dagnall,
He'll hold his own.
yeah, he's been coaching his ass off in these playoffs, and yeah, I think the Thunder's overall defense is going to give this Pacers team hell. I think, J-Dub, you talked about all the defenders on the Thunder. You didn't even mention J-Dub,
Right.
who's an all defensive level defender who I think, he's probably going to be the primary Pascal defender, and I think he could hold his own. Pascal is going to get his because he's a great player, but I think he could hold his own against Pascal as the primary guy. And then in terms of Tyrese, they just have so many bodies they could throw at him. I think it's going to be a rough series.
It's like you said, with the pick and roll thing, and it's The Pacers, at the times they did struggle with the Knicks, it was because there was no one on the floor that they could mismatch hunt. You cannot mismatch hunt against, like, bigs can't guard guards. That's just how that works. But, like, you get Chet switched on you. That's not sweet. You get J-Dub switched on you somehow, or Caruso or Dort, like, Shai even. Like, that shit ain't sweet.
Isaiah
so
can hold his own
yeah,
way
Isaiah
better
too.
than
Yeah,
Cat
exactly.
can.
Yeah. So, yeah, shit ain't sweet.
Yeah, I think the Thunder are gonna smoke them out.
Yeah.
I don't think it's gonna be particularly close.
Yeah.
I agree a lot with what you said about like how they kind of had to prove how they would do in their last series or in these series that they've been playing to kind of show like, yeah, they got this. You
In
know,
the
because
big
I also
moments, you know what I mean?
I doubted them also against the Timberwolves. Like I remember what did I say, fucking Timberwolves in 6 or something.
So my argument was the fact that I thought the Denver series was the coming out party. That was the growing moment.
think
That
they
was
say that, yeah.
struggled in that series. Besides game 7, they weren't having games all playoffs where the 3 of them were
yes.
great
Yeah.
until game 7, and then they just carried that. Game 7, granted, it was a great game by the 3 of them, but it was just one game. But they carried that over into the 5 games against the Timberwolves. You know what I mean? All 3 of them were great for all 5 games. They were, I mean, what was at halftime of the closeout game, the 3 of them combined for like 50 plus points in the half. Like, and obviously the game was, I don't know how much they finished with.
I think 90.
We all turned the game off, I'm assuming.
Yep.
But
I think it was close to 90 or
3
something.
of them just were, and that was like the cherry on top for the series. The 3 of them were phenomenal all series long, and you know, in a big moment like
Needed that
really,
from J-Dub.
Really that's what I'm saying, J-Dub, because he's been, you know, even going back to last year, just thus far in his playoff career has been rather inconsistent, and this to me was the first time he really put together a full series of what we all know J-Dub could be, just doing it in the big moment. He really put it together for a full series, and that's just like, that's all you needed to, that was the only question you could have about this team, you know what I mean? So
Yeah, I mean, I said the Thunder basically graduated from the school of hard knocks after that fucking Denver series. That was it.
That was their battle test. Yeah.
That was their coming of age moment.
Yep.
And this team is super young, but I thought that was the excuse all postseason for people because
my
they're
excuse.
so young. They
That was my
haven't been there.
excuse.
They haven't done that. When they just were the best team in the league all year, and it was right in front of our face.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, look, the one weakness to the Thunder defense is they give up a lot of corner threes, and the Pacers can generate some corner threes. Mark Dagnall, you said, might get out-coached by Rick Carlisle. I don't even know if that's the case. Mark Dagnall might be the best coach in the NBA already, which is crazy to say. I'm saying the Thunder have every advantage in the series, and it's Thunder in 5.
Yep.
So let's do a little exercise just for the sake of this not being so boring, right? I need us all to really, really think here because it's going to be a hard thing to do. How do the Pacers win the series?
If they were to.
Right. We're all going to say it's impossible they win the series. That's how I feel about it. So let's figure out a way. Let's really analyze and put our coaches' hats on and all that, and let's try and think of a way for the Pacers to
Thunder
get it
team plane crashes.
I was gonna say you have
Devil
to
magic.
you have to close out under Shai's feet when he shoots a jumper.
I think
No, really.
You have to play your style. They have to get them to play their style. You have to get out. You have to run and gun.
The Thunder could do that.
You have to. I know, but you have to force turnovers. You can't turn the ball over.
Yes.
And Pascal probably needs because Tyrese got to go for 25 and like 12 every game, and then Pascal's probably got to go for about 30, average about 30. Like that's how good this Thunder team is. And the other guys, Nemhard's got to be consistent scorer. Neesmith has to hit his shots, and yeah, but I think like the turnovers is key. Like force turnovers and don't turn the ball over.
I agree.
I was gonna say I think they have to play exactly how they've been playing and specifically how they played against the Knicks. I think they have to keep hammering down on defense, continue making those momentum-changing, game-changing shots that they've been making, forcing turnovers and converting to points the way they have been, and sprinkle a little bit of luck that they've been getting. And I think that's the only
Rather
way
be lucky
that
than
they
good.
win. Yeah.
And I mean, look, I'll say this: rebound the damn basketball, because that has been the Pacers' fatal flaw. I mean, it almost costed
You're
them
right,
multiple
actually, yeah.
points.
They
They don't rebound well.
They don't even have to rebound their own shot because they make all their
That's
shots.
not the problem, though.
It's
But
like-
that's not the problem,
yeah.
though. Their defensive rebounding is dog
They
shit.
don't need to
too.
rebound. They're just gonna make it the next shot because they don't miss. Like,
Sure. I mean,
Right, you can make the bro. Let
yeah,
them,
they
let
have
them
to
have
keep
it because we're
rebounding.
just gonna be out on the break from your crashing
Yeah.
your own boards.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I definitely agree with you, Tom, in terms of you got to just somehow force as many turnovers as possible. You got to be picking up 94 feet for 48 minutes. And, it's a hard thing
That's
to do.
like they've
but
been
daunting
doing. Like they
task,
actually
yeah.
have been
what they
doing.
have been doing. But
Yeah.
you got to you got to do everything you can to make Shai uncomfortable, which is obviously such a hard ask.
Make them
but,
feel you.
you know what I mean? You got to, I think it might be best to throw a guy like Nembhard on him, who's, a little bit smaller, obviously, but, they always say, KD talks about it all the time, how he has the most trouble with smaller guys, because they get under him. You got to get a guy like Nembhard to really get under him to rip the ball out as he's raising up.
TJ
That's probably-
McConnell.
Yeah.
I think Neesmith played an insane defense, on-ball defense. I think
yeah,
Neesmith's the guy.
He'll probably get the assignment at first, but Nembhard's going to get his
you
go
thought
at him.
you thought Brunson draws fouls? I mean, Neesmith's going to get in foul trouble
Yeah,
at some point too.
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
but I think he
And for as great as Neesmith was defensively in the Knicks series, Nembhard was just as great. I mean, he put on like you said,
Nembhard's been
a
phenomenal.
masterclass in Game
Phenomenal.
6. And,
Yeah.
he has great hands as a defender, too, in terms of, sticking his hand in there. So will he give Shai trouble? I don't know, but can he get a...
Nobody's giving Shai
force if
trouble.
you-
Yeah.
Yeah, can he put a little pressure on
You got to
him?
get
you know?
easy buckets. You
Yeah.
got to get out because
Yep.
you don't want to go up against the Thunder set defense.
They get
You
all
know?
their, they make in all their easy buckets. Like
Right.
even us, I think it was yesterday's game. We had a free whatever.
We
what
had
do
a
you call
ton
it?
of open threes.
Not even open fucking fast break layup. I don't even we're missing that shit. I don't know.
Starts throwing it off.
Yeah,
No, I'm
that.
saying the Pacers got to get out and run and get easy
Yeah.
buckets.
Yeah.
Right.
The way they
but-
did against us.
Yeah, my bad. So I'm just still stuck on the Knicks. I'm saying that's what the Knicks weren't doing, and that's what the Pacers were doing.
Right.
Yeah.
And because the Pacers were doing that, that's how they kept getting ahead. Do I think OKC is going to be doing what the Knicks did like that? No. So with that being said, the bare minimum is them doing what they've been doing. You know what I mean? To even have a fighting chance. You
And
know?
yeah, I mean, to the,
Fighting
to
chance
the
might have been
point
crazy,
of
but-
the Knicks look disconnected on defense, and I don't want to keep harping back to the fact that OKC looks like this unbeatable monster, but it really does look like there's
Kinda are.
They do
there's
look
six
like an
defenders on the
unbeatable
court at all times, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
It's like they're so connected that it's like, oh, you get an open shot over here, no, it's not open because Alex Caruso just closed out on it and somehow guarded the entry pass if you wanted to get it there too. So it's so difficult, but it's going to have to be, like I said before, the one weakness to the Thunder is corner threes. You got to get a bunch of them and make a bunch of them and do not turn the ball over.
They will.
So you know how you get that? So this was going to be my next thing. So forcing turnovers obviously is the biggest, easiest answer to this, and this is obviously a hard ask going up against that defense. You need an all-time legendary, historic performance from Pascal Siakam.
Yes.
Because again, like I mentioned, Tyrese Haliburton is going to have a difficult time getting what he wants to get in the pick and roll. You need Pascal Siakam in his isolation situations to just be perfect, to anytime he has J-Dub on him one-on-one to one, be able to get his own bucket, but two, be able to make the right read. But more importantly, get his buckets to shift the defense towards him to generate the open weak side corner threes. Right. So and again, it's a hard ass, but you literally need all-time great like that. To me, that's the only way. Pascal Siakam, you said 30. He got averaged 35 in this series for them to win this series.
Welp.
Honestly, you need an all-time great performance.
I
from
agree.
Pascal.
I also think Nembhard would need to really have a great coming out party type of series where he
15
had
20 a game,
he had some
yeah.
really
Yeah,
good
I was about-
playoff. He had some great playoff games last year,
Yeah.
especially. We saw that. You need that Nembhard, the one that was dropping 25 on the Knicks over and over and over again. That's the Nembhard that needs to show up in this series too. It needs. You just said it. It needs to be perfect basketball.
Because I think
Pacers need to be perfect.
they're gonna lean on Pascal heavier than they have in these previous series. One, because again, like I keep mentioning, I think Tyrese Haliburton's gonna have a tough time getting to what he wants to. But two, because he's the guy who's been here, done that on this team. So they're gonna say, Pascal, you know how to get. And honestly, different situations. He had Kawhi next to him the
Right.
last time, but different situations. But they're gonna lean on him more than they ever had, and said, Pascal, you're the guy who knows how to get this done. Take us there, and he needs to just play the best 4 games of his life.
Yep.
Yeah.
Honestly, which
So-
he's been really turning it up throughout the course of the playoffs, getting better and better each round. So maybe he has another gear he could tap into.
So what
That'd be sick.
we're saying is
Thunder in 3.
pretty much.
Shit ain't happening.
Look,
Yeah.
everyone's picked against the Pacers in every single round.
Yep. I'm gonna do it again.
That's all I'm saying. Leave it at that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Pretty much.
sounds good. 6-6.
Good talk.
Thank you guys.
Sorry.
Oh shit.
When does the actual final start? How long?
Thursday,
Thursday.
Wednesday, Thursday.
Weeks.
Don't give him a break, bro. Like, they give him a fucking vacation before they go play in the NBA Finals.
Established that Game 7 would be June 22nd. Right?
I think it starts Thursday.
Yeah.
Like, I'm
Thursday.
almost 99.9% sure.
damn,
But Dean,
what
you
I
have an
just said.
iPad and a phone.
when
right
it's
there if
a
you wanna
when
check.
it's a sweep, we're gonna
Yeah,
have a
we'll
long
just-
time
okay,
before we get into football.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
I'm very excited
Good.
for football, and
Yep.
you
Oh.
guys should be too.
I know
Got a
damn
lot
well they're all super
I know you guys
excited
are,
for
yeah.
football as well. Dean is checking this right now, so hold for one moment.
Glad you said, both.
We have
Okay.
a guy who can't work a phone.
Well, no, I hit the voice thing and it picked up what you were saying.
Oh,
Thursday night, 8:30, June 5th. Game
Good
1,
date.
Pacers Thunder. If we didn't know,
All right. What? It's
Who's
not
playing in the
Thunder?
finals?
I think the Pacers and the Thunder.
Well, I thought the Knicks were playing.
I thought the Knicks were playing too. Yeah.
Damn
In
it.
an alternate reality,
Damn
you're
it.
playing in the NBA Finals.
Another
It's a-
universe.
It says that they lost yesterday. So
No way.
yeah,
Yep, thanks, Dean. You just broke some serious news to us.
sorry guys.
All right, thank you guys so much for watching. Please be sure to leave a like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, follow us on all of our socials. NBA Finals starts Thursday. Stanley Cup is starting soon too. Are we going to talk about that? Absolutely
Who's in
not.
the Stanley Cup.
Edmonton and Florida. It's a
BallGame,
rematch
Connor
from
McDavid's
last year.
Getting his revenge. Oh my
A lot
gosh.
of people are thinking that
Oh my
right
gosh.
now.
Oh my
A lot of people are thinking that right now. He's going to go bet on Connor McDavid, and we know that.
Never
So
mind, I was gonna say that.
what?
I was gonna say something messed up.
Don't say it.
I won't.
Whatever it is, just save it for off.
Okay, got it.
All right. Thank you guys so much for watching. And with that,
Ball
Ball
game.
game.